Coronation Street's latest troublemaker, Becky Swain, firmly settles herself into Carla and Lisa's home next week, until Carla accuses her of fabricating the story about being in danger. Becky insists she's unsafe at her new apartment, prompting a worried Lisa and Betsy to kindly offer her a place to stay. Yet as her dramatic tale begins to look increasingly suspicious, will Carla be able to convince her fiancé that Becky's pulling the strings and playing them both? Now that Becky has managed to move into number 6, she's not about to walk out willingly, a Corrie insider reveals. Carla is going to face a serious challenge if she wants to see her gone. At the same time, Lisa isn't completely gullible and already doubts Becky's account, but when she confronts her directly about the truth, Becky flips the situation and manipulates it to her advantage. Feeling cornered by Lisa's questions, Becky puts on an emotional performance, acting hurt and insulted that her estranged wife could accuse her of deceit. Her reaction causes Lisa to retreat, but Carla isn't as easily swayed. Lisa has already told Carla that Becky recently made a move on her, the source continues. Since that confession, Carla has been ready for battle. To her, it's all-out war now. With Lisa also planning to take Betsy to Spain, Carla is more determined than ever to hold her family together and drive Becky out of their lives once and for all. Lisa feels rattled after her exchange with Becky, prompting Carla to tell her fiancé bluntly to open her eyes to Becky's manipulative behavior. Carla reasons that if Becky truly feared dangerous people, as she claims, she wouldn't choose to hide at the very home where her young daughter lives. Convinced Becky is staging the entire situation, Carla presses Lisa to see sense, unaware that Becky is secretly listening to every word. How will she respond as Carla slowly turns Lisa against her? It's clear Becky knows how to make threats. She had her own way of handling Costello when he tried to force her back to Spain, our insider adds. So the question is, how far will she go to silence Carla this time? But this tangled love triangle doesn't just affect the adults. Betsy still believes her mother is in real danger, so she won't take it lightly if Carla and Lisa try to send Becky away, fearing for her safety. And with Betsy still dreaming about moving to Spain with her other mum, can Lisa and Carla really risk evicting Becky and possibly pushing their daughter away in the process? Coronation Street spoilers. Heartbreak for parents-to-be, Carla exposes Becky's lies, and Fizz hits her limit. Coronation Street promises another emotional week ahead, packed with heartbreak, tension, and explosive confrontations as secrets unravel and one character reaches breaking point. The Platt family faces a devastating new storyline when a routine pregnancy scan for Shona Platt takes a shocking turn. On the day of the appointment, her husband David Platt is missing, caught up in yet another feud with his sister Sarah and her partner Kit Green following old tensions about Shona's past affair. Things quickly spiral when Kit loses his temper and arrests David for assaulting a police officer after he pushes past him. Desperate to attend the scan, David pleads to be released, and Kit reluctantly escorts him to the hospital. Once there, the couple's joy turns to fear as the sonographer discovers an abnormal mass on their unborn baby's neck. The following episode focuses on the pair as they grapple with the devastating update. Described as a unique, deeply emotional episode, it shows the events from both parents' perspectives. From Shona's side, she is overwhelmed with emotion, struggling to understand how David can appear so calm. Her frustration boils over, and she orders him out of the car before the hospital visit. Then, from David's point of view, we see the same day through his turmoil, trying to stay strong for Shona while hiding his fear. When the consultant finally delivers the diagnosis, their worst fears are confirmed. The baby has a tumor on her neck. The doctor explains that if they choose to continue the pregnancy, Shona will require complex surgery. He also reveals they're expecting a baby girl, but her tumor could be cancerous, leaving the couple shattered by uncertainty. Meanwhile, over on the cobbles, Carla Connor once again sees through Becky Swain's web of deceit. Despite her recent claims of being watched at her flat, Carla suspects that Becky is back to her manipulative ways. Lisa Swain, Becky's ex, confronts her to find out the truth. but Becky pretends to be outraged by Lisa's lack of faith. Carla, however, isn't fooled for a second and warns Lisa to stop being naive. She reasons that if Becky truly feared for her safety, she wouldn't be hiding in the same home where her daughter Betsy lives. But when Becky overhears Carla's accusations, how will she retaliate? Elsewhere, Fiz Brown finally reaches her emotional limit as she struggles to keep her family afloat during husband Tyrone Dobbs' recovery from a spinal injury. Exhausted from caring for Tyrone, balancing work and looking after the children, Fiz begins making excuses to escape home life. But how long can she keep it together before she cracks completely? Next week on Coronation Street, emotions spiral out of control as several residents face explosive confrontations, heartbreaking moments, and buried tensions coming to light. Fiz Brown reaches her emotional breaking point when her teenage daughters Ruby and Hope explode into a screaming match. Later, while at work, Fiz completely unravels, breaking down in tears before furiously striking her sewing machine as stunned co-workers look on, powerless to help. But can Fiz recover from this emotional collapse, or is it a sign she's reaching her limit? Elsewhere, Eva Price and the Driscoll family find themselves caught up in even more chaos. After their son Will's sudden disappearance, Eva and her partner Ben try to convince him to stay in Weatherfield. Although footballer James Bailey kindly offers to coach him, Will refuses, instead claiming he's heading to Leeds for an athletics event. It quickly becomes clear, however, that Will is keeping secrets. When his former coach Megan drives him back to the cobbles, Will is visibly miserable to be there. Ben later bumps into Megan and invites her to the Rovers for lunch. But will the truth about Will's strange behavior finally come out? Meanwhile, Kevin Webster leaves his loved ones worried with his increasingly odd behavior. When Tyrone tells him he's planning to return to the garage's office, Kevin's shocked and unsettled reaction raises eyebrows. At the same time, Sally Webster informs her husband Tim that Lou is facing court for a violent incident in prison. But their marriage faces fresh strain when Sally notices Tim's phone open on his ex Trisha's social media profile. Suspicions flare, leading to a fierce argument as Tim snaps at Sally for questioning him. Things only worsen when Kit confronts his son Brody about skipping court for his mom's hearing. Furious, Kit storms over to Tim and Sally's house and accuses them of keeping him in the dark, denying him the chance to support his mother. His anger boils over as he lashes out, branding them useless foster parents, just as his sister Joni arrives with the family's social worker in tow. And finally, Gary Windus turns to Todd Grimshaw for help smoothing things over with client Pete, hoping to secure an important contract. But Todd hesitates, still uneasy about Pete's past fling with his partner Theo. Coronation Street airs on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. on ITV1, with episodes also available to stream on ITVX and YouTube.